Hi, my name is Andy Hansen. If you're receiving a link to this video, it's because one of your children is attending class with me at Hillcrest High School. Um, I just wanted to give you a little background as to what my classes will be like. You'll see in this message that I sent to you with this video link, you'll have access to the syllabus of the class as well as the schedule. You do not need to sign them. I just want you to have access to them so that you can see. But a lot of the main points I will just go over on the video here. In all my classes, I will expect that students will do homework. In Guitar 1, it will be practice and keeping a practice log. In my other classes, it'll just be, normal English homework that you would expect. I don't think anything way too heavy. We do a lot of work in class. All those homework assignments can be found on my Google Classroom. Now, all the students will have access to that. I do not know how to share that with the parents. I've tried numerous ways, and I don't know how it shows up to you. But I would say the best course of action just to see what students are doing is they can pull up the Google Classroom and you can look at their assignment list with them. And of course that will be on the schedule that I sent, but the links and stuff to where they submit it will be on there. Most of their assignments will be done, well, guitar they have to do on their own, but they'll submit electronically, so I rarely have any paper assignments, so that should hopefully make it easier. As far as my grades go, I've adopted a system that I've liked a couple years ago. What I'll do on my end is in Power School, I will give a straight A, B, C, D, F, or an NP, which means no pass. What that means is, let's say that a student does an assignment, and if they get, 93 or something in Google Classroom, I would put it in as an A in Power School. Now, those scores might not match explicitly, but at the end of the day, an A is an A and a B is a B, and that's how it will work at how it works in the school. I will also occasionally, for some assignments, combine scores. So typically in my English classes, students will write a journal every day. And instead of giving an individual score for that every single day in Power School, they will get individually scored. I usually just combine those scores. So I have another spreadsheet that I put those. So let's say a student gets an A on Journal 1, but then they get an F on Journal 2. So if I was to put those two scores in on my spreadsheet, it would probably be equivalent to a C. So their score in Power School would be a C. So that's how that one will work. So combining scores, I won't do that for all of them, but major assignment, smaller assignments, that's what we'll do. Oftentimes homework is done that way. I might do that, combine assignments per unit. Bigger projects will have their own score and they'll be weighted a little bit differently. All right, as far as late work goes, if a student does not complete something, I am usually pretty flexible. I'll let them complete it, but within Power School, I will put it as a NP, which again means no pass, and that will be equivalent to a 0. So if you see an NP, it will be 0 points.
Just $195 at Living Spaces. We design furniture with affordable, durable stuff.
Sorry about that. For the guitar class, it's going to be a little bit different. They have to make sure they're doing their practice logs and getting those in on time, or they'll lose those points. They can't do those retroactively. Yeah, so late work will be a no pass, and it will drop their score. Oftentimes, I'll give an F, and an F actually in Power School will be equivalent to 59%. So they do get some points for that, but it's not. It would still bring their score down, but I don't necessarily want every assignment to completely tank their score, especially earlier on. So if you see an F and it said, oh, they got a 59%, it's most likely because they didn't submit it. And I will indicate that there'll be a little symbol on the side that says, it will be like an orange box, I think, and that will indicate that it's an F and missing. So even if they get a couple points for it, it just means they're missing it and they need to still do it. Okay, attendance and tardies, really fast. It's so important that students are here as much as they can. I know that things happen that people will get sick, or you'll have emergencies in the families, or surgeries, or deaths in the family, anything like that. So I understand that, and I can certainly be accommodating and helpful. But for the most part, if as much as a student can come and be in class as possible, that is immensely helpful. I do have stuff online that they can, again, access and review those lessons if they do miss a day. Oftentimes I'll just post like our lesson material on there. But again, it's far better if they're here with us and doing the work. That goes for tardies too. Usually, actually, let me dial back and I'll suggest something. On Fridays, I will typically I'll send out a message on Parent Square, and I will say, hey, this is Andy Hansen from Hillcrest High School. Will you please check your students' grades and their attendance? If they have a D or lower, they need to come into my classroom and they have to make up that time. I would also like you guys to check the attendance, because if you're seeing that they're chronically tardy, there's new school policies. Hopefully you'll learn that through different means, but just briefly explain if they're excessively tardy or absent, they will receive certain punishments that involve, I'm still trying to figure out some of this because this is kind of new for me, but they will receive not punitive punishments, but corrective. So they will have to take part eventually in something called academies, which means that they have to take a class on Monday, probably with one of the admin or another teacher, and just get themselves corrected on, this is why we need to be on time, this is why we don't have our cell phones used inappropriately, etc. Yeah, so if they have excessive tardies, you might get a message from me later saying, hey, your student has been tardy, 10 out of 12 times that we've had class. And I'll talk to them. I know that sometimes stuff happens and it's not always their fault, but I mean, if it's they're talking with their friends in the hallway. So just be aware of that, but please check their grades. If it's a D or lower, I will expect them to come and work in my class for at least half an hour on Monday. If they have excessive tardies, they will want to make sure they get that corrected, because they might have to go and take a class for that. And that includes absences or misuse of cell phones. Speaking of which, my cell phone policy. I used to be very loose on this because I just didn't want to have the fight. I have seen many students become quite nasty over their phones. But what I'm doing this year, I will not allow phones in my classroom. What they can do, I'll have a packet or one of those hangers that I put on my wall, and they can just store their cell phone there. And that includes earbuds. Unless like a 504 or they get explicit permission from me, I'll just say there's no cell phones for the duration of class time. I've just seen so many students that it's such a detriment to them that they just can't keep away from their phones. They can't, focus without them. Or they can't focus with them, excuse me. So there won't be phones allowed in my classroom. They can bring them in there and store them there until the end of the hour. But if it becomes a chronic issue, they can also enter one of those academies on Mondays to get that corrected. And I think the admin could potentially come and take those phones if they're belligerent about it. Hopefully they won't be. Okay, lastly, if students have concerns, I am certainly happy to sit down and visit with them. If you have concerns about your student, I'm certainly happy to visit with you. We have parent-teacher conference happening that we can certainly meet in person, but I'm happy to do so outside of that. Oftentimes, if I can give you maybe a gauge on like meeting, just to save ourselves some hassle on some of these, I'm happy to do like a message, like if you say, hey, my son, his grade is low, has he turned these things in? That I think is like a text message thing. We could certainly talk over the phone if it's something more concerning, and certainly we can do in person if you feel the need to. But I oftentimes I do encourage students to be self-sufficient on that. If they have, at least grade concerns or other things, they can come visit with me. And Usually what I'll do on things, I try to be understanding on this as well. Let's say a student is unable to play basketball because they have a low score, or football, something like that. If they come to me and say, Mr. Hansen, I turned in this assignment, but I'm not able to play tomorrow because my grades are low, and Mr. Stocking is going to check them. I can go in there and confirm that they submitted something, and I will change their score to it'll be like a check mark on your end. So if I don't have time to grade it before then, I can at least indicate that it's turned in and it won't be hurting their score. Usually that's enough to get their score up. Anyways, sorry this is a little bit long at this point, but if you have, I'm really excited for this school year. I think it's going to be really fun. I always enjoy being with the students and hearing from them and seeing them grow. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'm excited. All right, thank you.